welcome to Hobie on YouTube, and thanks for watching. So today I've got some more pre-World War II official Boy Scout of America knives to show. Three, as a matter of fact. The first one is an upgrade to one that I already had and have already shown on the channel, and the other two are variations to a couple of knives that I already have and have already shown on the channel. So I'll be quick about this, but just again in the spirit of just trying to show you everything that I have, here we go. And you know, if I don't do that, I don't know what I would make videos of. So this first one is a New York Knife Company hammer brand scout knife, one of the very first. It's actually the second version. A lot of people think this is the very first Boy Scout of America knife, but it's the second version with the smaller detachable bail. And New York Knife Company made this knife from 1917 to 1922. So what you're looking at here is a knife that is a couple of years, over 100 years old. And it's in really good shape. So I got this to upgrade one that I already had. The one I had had a broken awl. This one is complete. These are really hard to get in any condition. And so I was happy to have the other one, but I'm happier to have this one. I had to pay up for it. And I did sell the other one, and who bought it I hope is happy with it and can kind of use it as I did as a placeholder until maybe one day they can find a complete one. But it's a 4-blade utility knife like we've seen so many times. Here's a screwdriver cap lifter, and it's marked New York Knife Company. I believe Walden. And then it has the old style can opener, and that does have a half stop. Now this one does have the punch, which the other one was missing, and on that punch you'll find the patent number and a half stop. Good spring tension on this knife. You can just hear the snap, skater snap. And then the main blade. It's a spear point, of course, like most of these Scout knives are, although they did make these later with clip point blades. And here you can see this pretty full blade for its age. So again, nice and complete example here. And this one reads Hammer brand. One thing I really like about this knife, this specific one here, is just how great the bone handles are. They're nice and dark. You know, I've seen these both ways. Well, here's the first one. Looks a lot like the one I'm showing you, except it had a very large, kind of oversized attached bail. That's really the biggest difference. There are some other slight differences in the frame, you know, in the dimensions, but pretty much the exact same knife. So this was the absolute first one that ran from 1911 to 1916. And then New York Knife Company came out with these. But yeah, those bone handles on this one are just wonderful. So that's the first one I have to show you. So next up is a Remington, and this is the second version of Remington's first official Boy Scout of America knife with the acorn shield. And I got this one on the cheap because, as you can see, it was missing the bail. And the pin that held the bail had just been hammered down, you know, to like crude little domes. And so I drilled that out, knocked the old pin out, knocked a new pin through there, which, by the way, you ever take a pin out of one of these knives and all the tools and springs go perk, you know, and you try to get something back through all those holes, through the liners, the bolsters, all the tools and everything else, you're in for a real treat. My only word of advice would be put everything in a vise and squeeze it down tight like it's closed and get those springs, you know, back under tension. You can kind of line those holes up, and then whatever you're trying to drive through, it really helps if you taper the end that you're driving through, so it kind of self-guides through. But anyway, so what I've done there is I put a pin on here, and I'm on the hunt for a bail. So if I find an old Remington bail, I can put it on there and clip these off and peen them down, and it will be complete. But the problem is so many of these old Remington Boy Scout knives come without bails because they all had bails, but they all, half of them out there have lost their bail. So in order just to get a bale at a fair price is almost impossible, and I'll probably end up paying as much for a bale or an old beater knife that's, trash just but has a bale just to get the bale as I did for this whole knife. Anyway, the reason I got this knife is it has the two-piece can opener. So these originally came, here's the very first one from Remington, and this would be a 1923 to 1924 model. It has a solid one-piece can opener. Okay, but in I don't know, I think like 1926, you could get them with a two-piece can opener. Now the books I have will give you a date range of 1924 to 26 for this, but the more I read about it is like Remington started using this two-piece can opener in April of 1926, and it was patented in 1927. So this knife is probably from 1926. I'm thinking these with the acorn shield and a two-piece can opener may actually be harder to get than the acorn with the one-piece can opener because they weren't in production as long. So yeah, this is the Tillman's, named after the Cutler Tillman, the Tillman's two-piece can opener. And it was interesting, and a lot of other knife manufacturers kind of went to this idea. What they did was they put two different steels on here with different properties. So these tended to break a lot because it's one type of steel, and you would often get this part breaking off, the lever on top of the can, and because that's where it's thin. So here they broadened that a little bit, and they used a more flexible steel, is my understanding. This is a good cutting steel here, so it'd be very hard, I guess, and this is a tougher steel, so it's more maybe flexible and wouldn't break as easily. So it actually was an improvement. So that's the Tillman's two-piece can opener. And then the rest of this knife, that's a nail breaker, and I just cut my nails. So let me get my little tool here. This is a nail nick tool. This is a Rough Rider. By the way, if you collect old vintage slip joint knives, sooner or later you're going to have some that are real nail breakers. And these are really, really handy to have. Here's another one. This one is from a GEC blank blade stamping. It's got a bottle opener and a little hole here. It's not really a screwdriver. That came to me courtesy of Joe at Messer HQ. Thank you, Joe. But yeah, the way you use these is you just can kind of get in here and grab that nail nick. And there's that old style stubby screwdriver, just like on the first one. Let me go ahead and close this up. And then the punch. Pretty standard stuff. It's a little short, I think. I think when I compare it to this one, yeah, it's a little shorter, so I think that one's been tipped and probably reprofiled, but not badly. And they do have the Remington in a circle stamped on them. And then the blade on this one. A little worn, sharpened a few times by some very eager boy, a lad that wanted to keep his Boy Scout knife sharp. And the back of the blades on both of these are marked RS 333, the Remington model number for the full-size official Boy Scout of America knife. And Remington UMC inside the circle with Made in USA to the outside of the circle. So that's a just a variant of one I already have, and that's the sickness of collecting, right? You got to have them all. And if you try to collect all the variants of the Remington Boy Scout knives, man, I mean, you're looking at, I think I counted it up, at least 16, distinctly different knives. Where, I mean, they had 3 different sizes, they had 3 different shields, they had at least 3 different tang stamps. Some had line bolsters, some didn't. Some had 2-piece can openers, some had 1-piece, some had long screwdrivers, some had stubby screwdrivers. You could build a collection of dozens of knives probably just from Remington Boy Scout of America knives. All right, that's the second one. All right, so the third and final one I have to show you is a Remington model RS4783. This is Remington's 3.5-inch model, so it kind of falls in between the junior size and the full size, and it has a 3 pieces to it, so it's a 3-implement knife. These always also had a detachable bail, which was different for Remington, and this one looks like it has nickel silver linings. So it had the round shield, and these were all made from 1934 to like 1939, so right up to the end there for Remington. But there are 2 varieties, and the one I had before had the screwdriver on the bail end and the can opener on the main blade end. This one has the screwdriver on the main end, so there's the difference. Again, it's kind of a sickness, but when you're collecting, you got to have them all, right? So there's only the difference there. So there's the long screwdriver cap lifter. Here's that 2-piece can opener with the horizontal pull. Tillman. And then this one didn't have a punch, it just had a blade. The blade did have a long pull. There's your tank stamp. I believe that one has the script tank stamp, Remington in script. And then here on the back is the model number. Okay, so that's the new one I have, just to compare it to the older one. Again, really the only difference is on the front here. Oh, I'm sorry. A little bit of a difference is not only did they switch positions, that they put it on the back. So your screwdriver, cap lifter, can opener now behind the main blade. So this was the first, I don't know, I don't know which came first. I think the screwdriver on the main came second. Otherwise, pretty identical knives. There's the long pull again. There's Remington in script again. And this one does not have the model number on the back. I don't know. I would venture maybe this one came second, because I think at one point they did quit stamping the model numbers on the back just to pinch some pennies. Well, let's set that over here. So we're just looking at the 3 new ones. There they are, guys. Thanks for your patience. If you're into Boy Scout of America knives, I hope that was interesting. But again, just in the spirit of showing you everything I've acquired since I quit making videos about a year ago and started back up, here are 3. Thanks for watching, and have fun collecting.